Here it
I'll
comes. Here it
I'll
comes.
retweet it.
Hey, we're live. We're live. Hello. Hello, viewers. If you're out there, tweet at us at Billy Bearcat, or sorry, at Bearcat on Beer, at Ed Grohl, and at Easy Pretzel. Love to hear from you. Back for another live session of the IFS podcast. Oh, love that sound. Oh, there's another one.
Ditto.
Edwin, how you doing?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Well, and we also have a disembodied voice, Mr. Easy Pretzel.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm good. Poured myself a nice beer, brand new one. Here we are. This just came out this week. It's a new series from Pizza Boy. It is their premium little lager. It's part of their new brewery beer series. And I got to have a nice conversation with Al about it. Ed, you're having one too, right?
Absolutely. Just poured it.
Dave, you've already started yours a little bit ago, right?
I couldn't wait. It took so long to get set up. I needed to crack it open.
Yeah. What did you think of it? Why don't you give me your thoughts while we pour into this?
I'm just getting into it right now. It is a lot sweeter than I thought it was going to be.
Mm.
I mean, you could taste the.
Yeah.
The smell wasn't what I expected off of this. It smells more sour than it should be. It's good though. It's smooth. It's easy to drink. I'll give it that, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, this is something new for them. It's 3.8% ABV, and it is a little lager. It's pretty clear. It's got a nice hue to it. It's got a little bit of sulfur in the nose on the start, but I think for a light lager like this, that's especially one that's real new. That's not necessarily unusual, and it's not off-putting for me. I don't mind a beer like this.
I think it smells like Honey Nut Cheerios because you can smell like the malt and the sugar and the sweetness to it.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna smell anything else now. Thank you for that.
That is right on. God, that is right on. Damn you, Dave. You nailed it. It does have that cerealness to it.
I could see myself at like a Penn State tailgate cracking 8 of these for a game.
Yeah, it's a beer for drinking. So I had a nice talk with Al and a long talk with Terry about this one. I was like, the reason why I ran over there was one, Dave suggested it, which was smart, and two, this is definitely something different for them. It's different beer. It's not a hop to hell IPA. It's not a sour. It's not some crazy beer with some goofy adjunct that they just got an idea in the middle of the night and ran with it. This is beer for your typical American beer drinker, not necessarily your craft connoisseur or like craft devotee. This is beer for drinking. And I asked why they brewed it, and it's because they want to drink it. So they brewed something they wanted to drink, and that's a great reason to brew something, in my opinion. It's been wildly successful since it came out. It was outselling everything else at the brewery 2-1. $30 a case, you can't beat it. It's pounders. And I'll tell you what, if I was mowing the grass and I came in from a hot day, pound 2 of these, and I'd be happy as a clam.
One of you two in our rambling texts during the week brought up a good point that I thought was very, very good. Was if you want to attack some of the big, brewers who are making the Miller Lights, as a craft brewer, this might be a great way to do it and get something next to theirs that is light, that people seem to, gravitate towards, but also gives you something a little bit better quality at what I would call a similar price point. And I think that it's a really good point. I think it's a great way to attack the market.
And we had Michael on YouTube right now live. It's asking, is this the first lager for Pizza Boy? No, they have the Blue Collar lager they've been canning for. That was one of their first cans, I believe, that they've had.
which is also it's a nice lager too. It takes a lot of talent to pull off a decent lager, and I think, well, I guess this is 2 now. They've done a really good job. It's been really good. The blue collar's great.
Yeah, I like that. Like you said, it's a perfect kind of beer. It's somebody maybe who's my mom is she's gonna have this. I'm having my son's birthday party on Sunday. She's coming up from Florida. I'm gonna get some of this and have that for my mom and my stepdad and other people that maybe aren't into craft, but hey, I like Blue Moon and Stella, but I don't really know anything about craft, so I'll either have Coors Light or Stella. So I can say, hey, try this out. This is a local place, and I think that'll kind of get people in there. Oh, great, this is wonderful. What else do you guys have? This is a better Bud Light.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. This is a better Bud Light. It's got a lot more going on. I think but it's not it's not a difficult beer. It's not a beer that you need to really think about. It's not gonna challenge your palate. You're gonna finish the pounder and you're gonna be happy, and it's refreshing. It's really good. And tomorrow, Friday, tomorrow's the 17th, or sorry, tomorrow's the 18th. They are canning their Pilsner, which is the next in this brewer series. And I had a taste that. It's on tap now. The premium lager you can only get at Pizza Boy in cans. They don't have it on draft. And I think that's both intentional and smart. This is a beer for drinking at home, crushing a couple cans. Buy a 6-pack, buy a case, enjoy it at home. The Pilsner was a little bit more complex. Al said it was his best beer, and Terry seconded it. Those guys have done a ton of beers. I thought it was I was like that. I didn't say this, but I thought that sounds like hyperbole. It sounded like maybe a little bit of salesmanship. Nothing wrong with that. But I tasted it. I had a nice tall glass of it. And you know what? I'd be hard pressed to say did they make a finer beer? It was crisp, perfect for a Pilsner. The hops were beautifully up front, but faded away quickly at the end. It was really light. It had this beautiful, soft, billowy head, and that was a beer for having with a nice piece of fish, or some shrimp on your deck. And it was more complex than this lager by far, and it was fantastic. That's the beer you should also pick up when you're picking up this one.
That's pretty high praise considering our lamentations of good Pilsners here on this very podcast in the past.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think we should send some up to Mr. Nodi and see what he decides, and maybe Joel down at Brukaki send him some.
You can subscribe now to the It's Friday Somewhere box. Every month we will send you a box of beer that you reportedly do not like. That's we should send him a care package though. He's great to us.
I just looked it up. I forgot they released last month too, the Hamden lagers. I think they're probably testing it out a little bit on the last one. I can't remember if I had that one. I'm terrible at checking in Pizza Boy beers. But they had one earlier. So, just getting their feet wet with this lager, but this was a home run in my opinion. It's not going to be a 4.75 on taps kind of score. If you judge it for what it is, yes. Is this great light lager? Yes.
Yeah. And Michael, to answer your question, yeah, you passed on it. I think you made a mistake. So definitely head on back over to Pizza Boy and pick this up. It's right on.
You have, we do. There's a guy, Stool President from Barstool Sports, does pizza reviews. He talks about there's a certain pizza that's a football pizza. It's not fancy pizza. It's not the greatest pizza, but it's a great pizza to watch football with your friends. You could bang out 4 or 5 slices in a day and love it. This is a football beer. You can have this all day long at your house. You're at a bar, get it in the can, get like a 4 in a bucket, whatever it's going to be. You can drink this all day. You're not hammered off of a 9% double IPA. Still enjoyable, good flavor. Get some wings, get some pizza, watch some football. Fall's coming up. This gets me excited.
A case of Pounders for $30 sounds like a pretty damn fine deal too.
It's unbelievable how cheap his beer is. Now that he's selling everything direct, but $30. I mean, you're already at what, $24 sometimes for a Miller Lite if you're getting aluminum bottles.
I've paid $25.50 for a 30 of Miller Lite in the past.
And I spoke to him directly about the price of the beer. I said, $30, that's an aggressive price for craft beer. And he said, that's what it costs. That's what this beer costs, what it costs to make. He's like, I'm not throwing a shit ton of hops into it. It's a lager. Takes a long time to ferment and to come to maturation, but it's not an expensive beer to produce. That $30 price was, I'm speaking as I interpreted it, what he had to say, basically their typical margin. I don't know what that is. That's none of my business, but it wasn't priced aggressively to try to make a point or try to attack something. This is what the beer cost them to make it, what it costs to produce and to push it out the door. And $30 for a case of pounders of a beer this good, and for what is craft or micro beer, man, you can't beat it.
And you're going to drink this. I mean, unless you're a complete homer for it, this is beating the pants off of Yingling products 100 times out of 100 in my book. I think lager kind of stinks. I like Lord Chesterfield, but I think you're drinking this over a Yingling lager every day. This is way more crisp and enjoyable.
Yeah. And it's not going to leave me with a headache. I don't, at least unless I have like 10 of them.
Yeah, challenge accepted. Give it time. Yeah. You only dropped off 2 for me, which, by the way, thank you. You're a saint for dropping these off the other day. But yeah, I only have 2, so thankfully I don't have the full case.
Yeah, I picked up a 6-pack, and then I got a mixed 4-pack of the other stuff. I should have picked up a whole case. Shame on me.
I don't know if it's when you get older or what it is, but I don't really get those hangovers like I used to get when I was in my 20s when I'd have 12 Bud Light. You know, I don't know if it's that rice beer or whatever, but if I drink that cheap macro beer, and I always get these awful hangovers. Now I'm like, I'm just tired because I'm getting older. Let alone, the beer. It's never that massive headache that you get from drinking all that Bud Light.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on the lager?
I think it's officially a football beer.
It's a good, fun beer from a good local brewer that we all love, and he's really. I mean, this is what he was going for, and in that aspect, he hit the ball right out of the park with this one. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so easy to. I mean, we've only been talking for about 10 minutes. I'm almost done with this pint, and I've been gabbing, so I'm crushing this thing. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and we shout out to Nicole, who's a loyal listener. We forgot to shout her out last time she was watching. She's picking us some beer down in Baltimore right now.
Yes.
Yes. One thing I did want to notice.
I think she's in LA.
Is that where she was? Oh.
Yeah.
If you look at the sticker, so Al buys like these generic kind of cans, and then he slaps a sticker on it because that's the best way to get it because it's hard to get cans. It has a premium in like the cursive, kind of like the Yingling. So that's a nice little touch. It's kind of, hey, by the way, this is kind of a better Yingling right here. Just a little subtle jab at him.
Take a look at it right here. Zoom in on it. You see that? It's a nice sticker.
Al does not dabble in subtleties. I don't believe that's quite blatant.
Yeah. And this was canned on 8/14, so doesn't get much fresher than that. And this is highly recommended. We want to give this a score. What do you guys want to? We did it on a scale of 1 to 10 last time. What do you say, Ed? You first.
Going by their target and for what they produced here, I'm going to have to give this definitely a 7. I have to knock a couple points off just because it's not like some mind-blowing crazy beer, but that's not what they were going for. They nailed what they wanted to do, and I think it's brilliant, and I think they're going to have a complete success with this. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's really good.
Very nice. Dave, what do you got?
I'm going to the same thing. Unless I'm judging it out of the category. If I compared this with some, delicious Treehouse or something, I'm not going to put it close. But for the light lager category, I'm going to go with an 8.5. I think
8.5.
I think it's one of the best light lagers I've had.
I got to tell you, I basically chugged the second half of this, and people at home, you saw that. And for that, it just, the way it goes down, so smooth, so light. It just nails it for me. And I like this style of beer. I really do. I enjoy it, and I want more of it, and I'm happy that I got to buy it from Al. and Terry, and that it's someplace local. It's really good. So, I'm grading it on a curve. I'm going to give this one a solid 9. I really love it. I just really happy to have it.
Wow. Now I've become the professor nobody wants to take in college all of a sudden. This guy's an a-hole.
Don't worry about it. All right. While I'm cracking open number 2, Ed, you got an interesting glass there. What do you got there?
Oh, sorry, I muted myself there. This is a vintage Alter Ego glass. Before 0 Day changed their name, they had some cease and desist come in, I guess, or they got some legal advice that they needed to change their name from Alter Ego because some winery in France had the trademark on it or something. So I have 2 or 3 of these glasses around my house, and I love drinking out of them just to remember their struggle up and coming, trying to get the brewery open and everything. And this is just one of them. Not that I enjoy their struggle, but it's just a reminder of, how things can evolve over time. And especially in the brewing industry, things have to change. So I love drinking out of these glasses. Earlier, I checked in on Untappd for my Natty Bow glass, where I'd be drinking out of that right now, which is a glass that I do love.
Nice. That glass counts for me as kind of like the what I would put in for my collection of defunct breweries or altered breweries that changed over the years. I used the same glass last week. This is the Zuck. I always screw this up.
Zuck Foltzfus.
Zuck Foltzfus. This was a brewer.
Jesus, you live there. You should be able to get that, dude.
Yeah, Mount Joy. It's got the Amishman on the side of it, which I absolutely love. This is a great glass. I love these beer can style glasses. And this is a defunct brewery out of Mount Joy. Never made good beer, but had a great logo and a stupid name you couldn't say. And ultimately, they were not very nice people. And because of that, not having great beer, they didn't make it and they closed. So,
wasn't his thing to actually start fights with people who gave Untappd ratings at his bar?
Yeah, he was terrible.
Not a good foot to get off on.
Yeah. Mount Joy's got some difficulties with both restaurants and breweries. The restaurant's a little bit better, but switched it up. I am now having a Troegs hop knife. Just came out late last week or early this week. Back again. Hop knife. This is a beer. It's right in my wheelhouse. I love the color. This deep amber, 6.2%, and great to have this one back.
This is oddly more filtered than the Pizza Boy Light Lager.
Yeah,
you can see right through this.
Super clear. Yeah.
And Bill, since you're upgrading your abode there, so we can hopefully upgrade your webcam next time because it's hard to see the beer when it's through there. So maybe Ed should show the beer with his new fancy webcam.
Yeah, it's
just arrived today on my back deck. Woo.
Yeah, you're 1080p, right?
Google only lets you allow 720. So
jeez,
it's an upgrade because I did a side by side with the 2 cameras, and the one that came with my laptop is a piece of shit. So yeah, we did a side by side. It's great. I'm glad to have it since we're going to be doing this. Everyone needs to see my awesome eyes or what the hell, my hair, whatever. But I have another throwback glass here. I have the Weyerbacher Hops Infusion. This nice. Goes all the way back to 2003. I got this glass back when I first learned what an IPA was, and this was one of my bigger hoppy beers back then, which I loved.
We got to tweet that out. That's unbelievable.
That is a sweet glass.
And by the way, I'm not anybody who wants to know is I'm not. I actually just got a couple texts of why you're not on video. That's for professional reasons. So I'm on. You get the logo.
The faces you do get to see are the people with nothing to lose. That's
yeah. You get to see my my basement. This is a Christmas tree.
I have a fantastic joke about Charlottesville, but we're going to pass on that one. Right behind you.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
That's a hard pass.
You people at home can figure out what the joke was by the Christmas tree cover behind me. But as Dave had alluded to, I have a new home that I'm going to be moving to in October, and it's got a finished basement, and it's got a nice little spot where we're going to be broadcasting from, and I'm going to have a new setup, and I promise a better camera come October. I know you got to wait, you got to stick with this stupid 480p camera and bad lighting until then, but it's going to get better and hopefully works out.
This beer, by the way, it just, it's I like about it is that the Troegs is always trying to do something different, and at peak harvest season, they decided they want to showcase that, and they put that in a beer, and it just your palate is immediately hit with the hops. That's what they do. It's the it's the 3 C's that they're putting on there. I think they have El Dorado in there as well.
Cascade, El Dorado, Citra.
They dry hop it with a bunch of stuff. I forget what
Chinook, Columbus. They're hitting all.
So it's all those 3 C's, and then it showcases those flavors, and it's excellent. This is a great end of season, getting ready for fall beer. It's not a Marzen or Oktoberfest or pumpkin beer or whatever, but it's a beer of, hey, it's coming into fall, and it's the perfect time to release the beer. And I think it's one of their best beers that they do make. That German style, this is Troegs in a beer.
And they put this through their hop cyclone, right? Like, isn't this one of the first beers they did that with?
The hop gun, the hop cyclone, which I think the hop cyclone is like the hop gun on steroids.
But it's that German style where you're not just tasting the hops, you're tasting every ingredient throughout this beer, and that's why I think it's just so well done.
It's definitely tasting now that I'm getting into it, and I probably didn't notice it till we're talking about it. I taste fall in there, kind of like a harvest ale type thing, and it's really good. It really gives a good juxtaposition of flavors there with the C hops, and that's very Troegs too, very old school. Not a lot of places go to those hops anymore, but they're very loyal to their styles, and I think that's great.
And it's hard to get a good amber. Usually they're just all malt, and you're like, oh, this is horrendous. Like, I can't even get through this beer. I want to just dump it out in the yard. But this is one of those beers you can have. Not only the first one's going to go down fast, but the next couple will too. So if you're at a party or you're at a non-craft beer person's house and you bring a 6-pack over, people are going to want to drink them very fast, and they say, hey, do you got any more of those? That's what this beer really is.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I will add that what I like about this beer is it brings that some of those tropical and citrus notes to something that has the more body, like a fall beer. For me, I think that's a little bit of a unique kind of combination. You get something that I think is always true of Troegs beers is that they have that malt backbone. They stand up. It's not just about the hops, but this one you get that malt backbone, and then you get the tropical flavors, and it does tilt towards a fall beer. This is a harvest beer, but it's not a Marzen. It's not an Oktoberfest. It still has that brightness from the hops, and using the classic hops, I think is a testament towards what this beer is supposed to be, which is a harvest ale. We're not going to experiment in a harvest ale with the goofy stuff or those hops that are coming from New Zealand that were picked back in the spring because they're on a different cycle. This is well thought out. It's intentional, and just like everything Troegs does, there's every step of the way something's been thought about and considered, and it just feels smart. That's what I have to say about it. Great beer.
I forgot to mention, that first, as soon as it hits your palate, it's sweet. And then as you drink that beer, your entire tongue kind of gets the roller coaster of the hops and the malts and everything just comes through in an entire sip. And then it finishes off nice and clean. So I really love that about this beer is it showcases everything in this beer. It's not, listen, I love Northeast IPAs, but they're not showcasing the entire beer. They're just trying, hey, I want to have this juicy, citrusy deliciousness, which is great. But this is just something different. And Troegs, as usual, knows exactly what they're looking for, and they hit it right out of the park with this.
Yep. Question from Michael. Bill, what was your first IPA and year? God, that's good. I can't remember that. My first IPA, this is totally a guess. I'm gonna guess it was Sierra Nevada. Well, probably not. That's a pale ale. God, first IPA. That's a tough one. Ed, do you know what your first IPA was? You have to think
I'm gonna go with not Goose, Wild Goose from back in the day. They were Cambridge, Maryland, and it's probably the first IPA I had in my college dorm room. We used to have a place down in Ocean City, and we drove through, and Cambridge had Wild Goose Brewing, which eventually got swallowed up by Frederick and whatever the hell else. And we stopped there, and there were like two dudes working there. It was this non-air conditioned shack right off of Route 50 on the way to Ocean City. And me and my college roommate and a girl who was hitching a ride with us from college, we walked in there. They gave us a self-guided tour. Like, they're like, here's a thing, just go. They gave us free 6-packs to go. They're like, here, just take it. And so when we got back to school, we had them with us. And I think Goose Island's probably the first IPA because I was, if I recall, pretty repulsed by the flavor, which we all know IPAs are an acquired taste. So I'm going to say it was probably the Wild Goose from Cambridge, Maryland, before they got swallowed up. And this is, I'm going to date myself here. I'm going to say this was 1996 or 7.
Wow. You're way before me. Yeah. And the more I'm thinking about it, God, see, my journey through craft beer really was so regional. It was a lot of Troegs. It was a lot of ABC, the Appalachian Brewing Company. And I was really into Arrogant Bastard for a while, like Marzens and these deeper, strong ales and stouts. They were my thing for so long. It might have been Two Hearted Ale. That might have been the first true like IPA. That might have been it. And if it was anywhere, it was probably at Al's old place before he built the new one. Because I can remember getting Two Hearted Ale there and just being blown away by it.
That's pretty recent, actually. I mean, not recent, but I mean, Al's old place is only what, 5 years ago?
Not even.
Yeah, 5 years ago he built the new place, right? And the older one was there for what, maybe 3 or 4 years before he left it.
I know that I had I just don't remember what it was. I've had Dogfish Head around 2000, 2001.
Yeah, 60 minute, yeah.
And I don't know if it was 60 minute. I remember. I also, there's a place called Zeno's in State College, which is still a great place.
Directly above the center of the earth. I have 2 Zeno's t-shirts.
I still have my passport, and I have like 8 to 10 beers left. I need to go finish it one time, but I have it on there. But that's what got me into craft beer was the Zeno's passport. They had 80 beers on tap, and just I think everybody who's into craft beer, they start with I love Guinness, and then they love Young's Double Chocolate Stout, and all these different stouts and porters and these dark beers, and you're like, I love dark beer, and one of my neighbors is just getting into craft beer, and she loves dark beers and porters. I'm like, you're going to get there, and then your palate's going to get adjusted to the bitterness of the IPA, and then you're going to slowly get into that, and you get the sours and everything. But Zeno's really got me into craft beer. My one friend, Randy and Jesse, I went to Penn State with, who are podcast listeners, they like, hey, you have to go to this place. They have all these beers, and they have a passport. So we used to go and study and drink 3 or 4 beers while we're studying. Penn State's a academic grade school, but and I was a business major, so it was pretty easy. We had a few beers. They get the blues music playing in the background, and that was it. But I love those kind of places. And then you started going to those ABCs, or I remember a place in White Marsh, Maryland, by the IKEA. They had, you got an IPA, red ale, stout, porter, pale ale. Like I don't think they had names. That was what they were. And brew pubs in those early 2000s, that's all they had. And that started getting your palate ready, and until the beer revolution really came apart the last couple of years.
You brought up a passport at Zeno's, so I just happen to be sitting at a desk where I know people most people probably aren't local, but we had a bar here called Klingers that was clearly 10 years ahead of its time. They had 100 taps or whatever, and I still have my Klingers book for the Mug Club. The cover is freaking laminated because I spilled so much beer on it. I just got it laminated. And it is a compendium of just all stamps, beers I had to write in. I have over 1,000 beers in here. And this dates back to, I think they closed in 06 or 07.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is well before any Untapped or anything. And I mean, just this thing is, one day we should all just go through this and look at all the old beers that you can't even get. It's amazing. Like, it's unreal how much crap is contained in this little tiny book that looks like it came with a Nintendo game back in 1988.
That's like the Rosetta Stone of beer. God, that's beautiful. I had one of those.
Anyone who wants to doubt my cred, I will give you this book. Here you go.
You've been in this game so much longer than me. It's not even fair. I hate it. Hey, so I don't forget, shout out to Nicole, who's listening in the car on our way back from Baltimore. Thank you for listening. And more importantly, thank you for picking up some EBK for us. Expect that on an upcoming video review by us. Very excited. Thank you, Nicole. And if you want to follow her very nice Twitter account, it's at Nick. I'm going to screw up this last name. Elise. It's NICELYCE. It's a nice Twitter account.
You got to be better to our listeners here. She actually has a very very nice Twitter account.
Yeah.
She doesn't overtweet. She has good tweets, good retweets, kind tweets about the people. That's good.
Yes. And she's a big supporter of donating blood, something I am as well. So donate blood, people. It's a nice thing to do.
She's also one of the ringleaders of Girls Pine Out.
Yes.
And she's roller derby, and she will mess you up if you want to go out there.
Yeah, and she does stuff for breast cancer awareness. She's so busy. I don't know how she has time to do anything.
What's your blood type?
I think B positive. I'm not super rare, but I'm like lower on the scale, so they're always harassing me. So I try to go frequently.
I'm A positive, but I don't have the CMV virus, which like 95% of the country has or whatever. But it's good for pregnant women and burn victims, I guess, because they can't have any blood that has that, so they are always calling me. There you go. Donate blood.
Donate blood. Yeah. Don't drink before you donate blood.
That's a great advice.
Mike has a great comment. The book is Analog Untapped. That's Analog Untapped. I like that.
Hey, I got to keep it old school. That's just how I roll, which you actually did kind of say in a backhanded compliment that I've been in the game longer. This book. Tell you what, I spent way too much money at this place. That's all there is to it.
Now, did you get, if you filled the book, did you got a t-shirt or?
Well, there were varying degrees. So for the first 120 beers, you get 120, you got the mug. You had to take the mug home, but the mug was bigger than the regular beers, and you got $1 off for filling the mug. And then you could get like a jacket and a t-shirt and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. The crown jewel was to drink 1,000 from the book, and they let you brew a beer of your style, and you got to name it and da-da-da. Now, back when they were before they started having massive financial problems, they were Rogue East Coast. And so Rogue sent all their beers there, and they were going to open a brewery in there. They actually built the space for it. And so, but you could go to like, I know Weyerbacher made their house beer, and I'm going to forget the name of it now, but you could go to like a local brewery that they would contract for you, and you could brew a beer that you wanted. And at the end, before they closed, I was like 3 short. So I never got my beer. But hey, it doesn't matter. It's the journey, not the destination.
I have a question. So I was just said, oh my God, what's it called? What's something turtle in Delaware? The Green Turtle.
Green Turtle.
Delaware. It's a great place. Great food. The food's amazing. They got fish tacos that are great. They got all kinds of different food that was amazing. I actually went there twice. Oh, we were there. It was so good. Service is great. TVs are great. Everything. But they have a gigantic mug club. Now, does anybody? My opinion, I think it's horrendous. I like the idea that you have your own mug because you've earned it, but I don't want to drink out of that mug rather drink out of the proper beer glass. What is your opinion on the Mug Club?
Ooh, that's a good one. See, now God, I've been in so many mug clubs, and I kind of went back and forth with this. When I was in the Appalachian Brewing Company Mug Club, it used to be a 25-ounce mug, and I would go for happy hour when they had the Mug Club specials, and I would drink 1.5 beers, maybe, or I would drink one out of my mug just to be like, hey, I'm drinking out of my mug. And then I'd go, I just want a pint of the next one. So I think that there can be too much. Now, the Clingers mug that I had, I sound like an ad for them, and they've been defunct for 12 years. The Clingers mug that I had was 21 ounces, so it wasn't like obnoxious. I still have it downstairs. Next time we do this, I'll drink out of it. And so it wasn't like obnoxious. So you were just like handing over this mug and just drinking beers out of it. It was really good. When I was in Iron Hills Mug Club, that was like a 25-ounce mug, and they would give you like $2 off or whatever the hell it was. And I thought that was too much too. I'm like, I'm in the Mug Club, so I would get the discount, but I'd be like, just give me a half, like a whatever, the 12-ounce pour of blah blah blah, because I can't drink that. It's just that's committing way too much to just one beer. It just seems like overkill to me.
Yeah, I've never been a member of a mug club. I've never seen the economic benefit to it for me. I'm just probably too diverse in my interests. I thought about joining the ABC one, but by the time I actually got around to possibly considering it, I was already out on their beers. So I've never joined a mug club. And then there was that period of time where I probably was close to joining one, but then the LCB here in Pennsylvania just shut it all down and screwed with it. And they're back, but I still kind of feel like they're kind of watered down from what they used to be.
I'm part of a mug club in the Comfort Inn in Buffalo, New York, in Cheektowaga, a.k.a. Cheek to Vegas.
What? What?
I used to go to Buffalo a little bit for work, but we used to go to the Bills game all the time. My father-in-law, we do a football trip. We go to every different city, or we're trying to. We're going to Chicago this year. Last year, went to Miami. Went to Tennessee, all that stuff. So we've been a bunch of different places, but we used to always go to Buffalo. So I was there for work, and they had a little card, Max. I think it was called Max's. And I would go there and you get stamps. I got all that filled out in Cheektowaga, New York. But I don't go up there as much anymore. Buffalo is a great place.
That is actually hysterical that you there. I think I probably joined mug clubs that I don't even remember just from being places. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna join your mug club, and I give them like the $28 or whatever, and then I get a mug to go home, and then I forget that I'm never gonna be back in Topeka. Who gives a shit?
Boneshire. They started a mug club. I thought about joining that one. In the end, it's a little out of the way for me. I like going there. It's a great place to visit. Alan does fantastic work. His stouts are all very, very good. And he has a great number of guest taps from local Pennsylvania breweries. Gets a bunch of stuff from Soul Artisan Ales, and then also from South County. So he's always got good stuff, his own and other stuff that's on. I thought about joining it. In the end, I just don't make it out that way enough for me to join. I thought that was kind of an interesting move for a brewery to do it.
He's I was actually, it's funny. I was there last night. Well, my niece had a pool party that was down the street, so we jumped out of the pool party for 12-year-olds. So we went there, but they had a Jenga tournament there. He's got different trivia things, all kinds of different things, to keep the place going. And I think that's what some of these small breweries got to consistently do. I think they're the new bar. I mean, they really got to have the people come in during the weeknights. They have food there. They have a place called Nomad Barbecue, which is making some cool barbecue. A great soup right there. So I think these bars are going to have to continue to do mug clubs and game nights and trivia just to keep that open, because that extra revenue really helps them, so they can do cool things like those barrel-aged beers that he's doing, which his barrel-aged beers are just unbelievable. I mean, they are world-class, Funky Buddha, world-class level.
We need to do an IFS trivia night, and I swear to God, you guys bring me along to a trivia night there, and I will freaking wail on people. I am awesome.
If we lose in trivia, I will stab somebody if I lose in trivia night.
I feel like I can bring the heat for trivia. I got some good got some good useless knowledge. I'm ready.
I used to read Uncle John's Bathroom Reader, which was like a 4-inch thick book that had random trivia and random stories. And I think I read every single one he had for years and years and years. So I'm full of useless trivia, and I'm perfect for trivia night.
Where I fall down, I feel like Ed would be very strong, which is music. I have zero.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I'm awful at music. Ed is. I need a music guy. I always do. Otherwise, we're gonna lose. Especially when you have that team of like 37 people that all they bring in.
And,
like,
they're the worst.
And they bring in like their 22-year-old daughter who's like, oh, I know all this, whatever the hell kids are listening to now with their hips and their hops. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, we have a local place called Ted's, and every time we would go there, it was me and my one buddy, Walt. We'd win every single time. But you go downtown Harrisburg, and that's when like the serious professional trivia teams are there, and they literally have the name. They have their spot reserved that they're there. Wally Brannigan used to have this team, and there was like 10 people. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's not. You really need 10 people. Like, have 1 or 2, maybe 3 people. Have
for
fun.
a $25 gift card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got $25. That's it. Thanks. $25 Molly's bucks.
I feel like the maximum size is 4. 3 to 4 is ideal for a trivia team.
God, trivia team. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna get that joke. Oh, sorry.
I got it. That was funny.
I was on mute laughing.
I was late on that one. All right. Trivia team names. I always used. There's 2 of them I always used. That were pretty good. One was Ted dancing on the ceiling, and the other one was my couch pulls out, but I don't, which were they were my favorites.
I used to work at a place called Damon's that had the NTN trivia. So people used to always try to come up with the worst names possible. I used to always use P space NES. So that was my name that I used. But I remember one time this group of people, there was like 4 of them, and they used to give a pig trophy it was every half hour that you get a winner. So we give a pig trophy from like 5 to 9, to try to encourage people to come in and have fun at Damon's. And they were GNG_BNG. And it was, and I can't believe they got past the filter that I had to announce. I said, "Congratulations, the gangbang!" They're like, "I can't believe that you said that." He gave me a $20 tip. I was like 16 years old. It's fantastic.
My trivia name from now on is "Fuck Yo Shoes." That's it, right there.
No. I went with Death Panels, brought to you by Highmark once, and I got a lot of groans from that one. I thought it was pretty good. All right.
It was not good. No.
All right. And I'm getting more groans here. All right. So I'm gonna wrap this one up on the hop knife. Any final thoughts on this one before we
I think we gotta give it a score.
All right, let's score it. Who's up
first?
All
right, Ed, go ahead.
I like it. I don't love it. I do love the feeling I get from the season. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm going to jump in here. I think that this one's probably my favorite of the hop cycle. And I wish it was in pounders. I don't particularly care for it in glasses. The glass bottles. Cans, great. As far as the score, I'm going to go 8.5. I really like this beer. Amber ales are always right in my wheelhouse. This is an 8.5 for me.
I agree that I think it should only be in cans. There's no reason for this to be in bottles. It definitely should be in pounders. This style is something that's a very limited style when you're going to have it. But for the style itself, I'm going to give it a 7.8. It's very delicious. I would have it at any party I would go to when one of the first beers I reach for. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to purchase instead of an IPA or something. But it's very, very good.
The German judges have spoken.
Jawohl.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Hey, I think Ryan Looper might be listening. He's tweeting us on Facebook. He's asking he's headed to Lidditz tomorrow.
How do you tweet on Facebook? Is that a thing now?
Oh yeah, Jesus, did I say that? That's terrible.
Yes, you did. And I'm the oldest one here. And I called your balls out for that.
He's face chatting with us, snap twittering.
What are you, Bill Belichick? He's snap facing somebody.
He's checking in on Friendster.
Man,
Hey, my friend's friends with Lindsay Lohan on Friendster. Famous Bill.
God, the unintentional comedy of this show is all I got. He wants to know on Twitter recommendation for beer stops out in Lidditz. Hello, Bullhead Inn, and get something on cask. Bull's Head is so good. It's phenomenal.
Joe Boys, I haven't been there in a year and a half, but I always like their stuff. I think that they're a great stop too. I know they're right across the street or whatever.
Yeah, Joe Boy's not bad. But Joe Boy's technically Mannheim, isn't it?
They moved they're in Lidditz proper, right? Like right across the street.
Are now.
Yeah, they moved a couple years ago. Yep.
Shows you how long it's been since I went there.
Jesus, you're like 12 miles from there, Bill.
I know, I'm terrible. I don't get out enough. Yeah, but Bull's Head, got to go there, order whatever they have on cask. You're going to love it.
And order the Scotch eggs. They're goddamn amazing.
Yes. That's true. All right.
If they have Yards ESA on cask, that's what you get first. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
Anything else good? Anything else good for the order?
No, I'm good.
All right, Bill's gonna hit stop.
Thank you, everyone, for joining and listening, and we'll see you soon with a proper podcast.
Peace out.